I don't see the members.
No, they'll come on. When you say good morning, it starts.
Oh, okay.
They'll come on. See, there we go. Start rolling in. Don't worry.
Oh, here they are.
Yeah. We'll start the spiel and stuff here. I think we'll get that.
Okay, we're live.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the late start. During the declared emergency, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and in-person attendance limitations. My name is Isaac Laluz and I'll be chairing the hearing. Panel members participating today via WebEx and can be seen and heard are Ms. Satarodi, Ms. Sankar, Mr. Bartolo, and Mr. Klassen. City staff will be assisting us throughout the meeting, including moderating with the WebEx platform. And today with us, we have Adam Clapp, who is from far. We have the Deputy Secretary Treasurer Dan Antonacci and Jenny Cottas. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentation to the committee using the said WebEx. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. These participants will be connecting either by their computer, a phone, a tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted upon entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered speaker will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you call on to speak. For those waiting online to speak, please make sure you call with the same number you originally registered with. Calling with a different number, you will not be able to speak on the item. For land acknowledgement, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances, to a new tribunal called Ontario Land Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out on the bottom of the decision of the committee. For the hearing today, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or agents will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions or take the matter directly for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5 minutes mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised, to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or in opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Now, before we proceed, we have some housekeeping items. First, we have a minutes of May 14 to adopt. Members, can I have a motion for adoption of the minutes of May 14? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll motion to approve those minutes.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay. Yeah, the minutes of May 14, 2021 are now adopted. Next, for this morning session only, members or staff, any conflict of interest to declare? None? Okay. Now we have the deferrals. First, we deal with the deferrals, and we have one. For this morning, we have item number 1. Item number 1, which is 32 Wilkett Road, and the agent who is registered here is David Bronskill. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning. You're requesting the deferral, and please tell us why you're requesting the deferral, and then we have a good number of people who are attending to speak, so let us know before we start.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir, and I will be brief. We do have a planning staff report. The client did make some revisions in an attempt to respond to that staff report. We're not sure we're there with staff yet, and so the first grounds is we'd appreciate the opportunity to continue those discussions. The second grounds is we did see the letters of opposition and think it prudent to speak with those who are opposed, in particular the immediately adjacent neighbors who submitted a letter from their council, Overland. We have on a very preliminary basis started just through email dialogue with them. It will obviously be more robust than that. But we think the matter overall, therefore, would benefit from the deferral for those discussions to occur. So we would respectfully request the deferral. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the request is for more discussions and perhaps changes in the application. And we're going to see, we have a number of speakers. We have here Henry Morton. Are you there? Henry Morton. Now, before that, we have with the same as the agent, there is a Neil Baymel. Is he the owner or what? Neil Baymel? Yeah.
Good morning, sir. This is Michael Carr speaking. I'm legal counsel for the two adjacent neighbors at 30 and 34 Wilkett Road.
Oh, okay.
Including the two individuals that you just named, Mr. Morton and Mr. Baymel.
Okay.
And I can confirm, sir, that my clients consent to the requested deferral this morning.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's what I want to ask you. So you're okay with the deferral?
Thank you, sir.
And Henry Morton, are you there?
And sir, that is one of my two clients.
That's one of yours. Okay, thank you. How about Miriam Merker? Are you there? Miriam Merker. She's not there. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
there.
Okay. You heard what's happening. The agent is asking for a deferral. And if we do approve the deferral, which means we're not going to discuss the items today, you will be notified when it starts next time. Are you okay with that?
I'm not sure what I'm agreeing to because this is the first time for me on one of these issues, but as long as it doesn't affect the planning, of what should be going on in this community, then I would agree.
Well, we will not be discussing the item today if we defer it. The question today,
Okay.
we're not discussing it. We're just entertaining the question of deferral, and if we defer it, we'll have to discuss it next time. Are you?
Okay, then I
Thank
can
you.
agree to that.
Thank you. Jenny Vincent. Jenny Vincent, are you there? Jenny Vincent? Okay. Would you be able to tell if she's online? No. Brandon can. Okay. Doris?
Yes, just a minute.
Who's
here.
that? Is that Jenny Vincent?
Yes, I am online and
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so so you agree to the deferral, right?
Yes, I am fine with that.
Thank you. Doris Chin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you heard what's happening? If we defer the
Yes,
application,
I'm okay with
you're okay.
this
Thank you.
deferral as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Zara Haslo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And
Can you hear me?
yes, and you heard you heard what's happening. We have a question of deferral. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I am okay with that.
Thank you. Jim Flick, are you there?
I'm here and I'm okay with that.
Thank you. Josie and Janice Nazareno, are you there?
Neither one are present here.
You're there? Oh, what he said? What did you say, Adam? I mean, Brandon? I guess this person is not there.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, neither are present. Jose or Dennis are not present.
Okay. Abby Hansen, are you there? Abby Hansen or Mehdi Hassan Lo, are you there? We're both listed under the same resident. Abby Hansen.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. Do you
This is Mehdi.
okay.
Both of us agree.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We'll see if there's anybody else. Okay, so these are the there is a deferral request by the agent, and everyone in attendance agrees with the deferral. And do you have any question? If not, can I have a motion? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'm going to make a motion to approve this deferral such that the agent will have a chance to discuss with the residents and make specific changes to the application in accordance with planning as well. So I'll make that motion, sine die. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Second? Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is deferred, sine die, and you check with the planning, with the staff when it's coming back, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Application number 2, which is 107 Ridley Boulevard, application number 2. And we have here Laura and Roman, the owners. Laura and Roman Chorniko, are you there?
Yes, we are here.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
you're listed here as the owner. Are you the one to speak for this application?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
the owner and I'm the one speaking
Okay.
for.
Okay, so we have here is a new dwelling. We have, you saw the staff report is asking for conditions. We have 5 letters of objection, and we have the forestry, which was first they had the condition and they changed it to more conditions. So could you please give us a presentation and tell us the merit of your application, and I'll give you your 5 minutes starting now.
Okay, I have some material to be presented that I submitted to staff that I'd like to come to screen if possible. But I would like to start by saying that we are the actual owners and that we design our house to absolutely fit in the neighborhood. We deliver drawings to all the neighbors directly affected by our proposal, much before they were informed of this hearing to address any potential concern, but nothing was brought to us until a few days ago. So
Could
this
you
being
please,
said,
excuse me, could you please speak slowly because we don't hear you properly. Speak slowly, please.
oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So as I said, like we gave the drawings to the neighbors affected much before this hearing, but we didn't hear anything back from them until a few days ago. So this being said, I would like to address some of the most relevant variances. So the first one would be the roof structure and the aerial view. On my presentation, I have, next slide, please. I have the aerial view of similar roofs in our block only. They have all the same architectural design, the one that we're proposing, and they're flat on the top. All those houses, next, you can scroll down, please. All those houses are in the 10 meters height. And yes, our roof was deemed flat because we did not meet the slope standards. But at the end of the day, from the street perspective, it will look at the same as if it had the full facade. It will be exactly the same height and will not deviate from the current height standards seen on the street. Furthermore, I would like to propose that this variance gets approved conditional to reducing the building height from 10.53 that I'm proposing to 10 meters. So I stay exactly in line with most of my neighbors. Also, the letters of objection submitted to this committee, the main concern of me is setting undesirable precedents. However, during the design phase of this house, we reviewed many committee decisions of the last few years just to ensure that our proposal was consistent with what had been approved in the past. We chose few ones on our street or close area to present today, so this committee can see that our requests are not unique or disruptive. Talking about this, next slide, please. Talking about the side yard setback, yes, as you can see on my site plan, we reduced the east yard setback. It's mainly due to the fact that our lot tapers on the east side. We try to minimize this issue by recessing in our house as soon as the garage ends. So it goes from 0.99 to 1.36. We also did not put any windows on that side of the house to prevent any exposure or lack of privacy. I also like to point, in the next slide, please, that 119 Ridley Boulevard setbacks were approved as 0.45 and 0.49, which is half of what I'm asking. In the next slide, you'll see that directly across from me, 112 Ridley Boulevard was approved at 0.85 with a frontage of 55 feet in comparison to mine being just 50 feet. And next slide shows that in April this year, 12 Harley directly behind me was granted 1.03. So we believe that our variance is much in line with what is being approved as exceptions. In terms of depth and length variances, please, the next slide, the major issue here is our excavated covered patio. The house itself is only 1798 and our next door neighbor is 17.5. So we are right there with our neighbor. And as we explained to the neighbors, this was a design decision made to provide storage to us without compromising the amount of greenery and trees. We have no access to this area from the house as it's just for storage. But if we don't excavate our patio, we need to install a shed and remove several trees in the back. Removing the greenery will also reduce privacy, which we know it's a major concern for our neighbors as it is for us. Again, we are not setting any precedent. As you can see in this notice, 74 De Vere Garden was granted 21.48 length and depth, and 120 Ridley, few houses down the street from us, had 24.11 depth and 24.14 length approved, while our proposal is 22.27 depth and 22.55 length. Nevertheless, if this committee feels that it's necessary, we are willing to compromise on the length and depth of this by reducing our length and depth in 1 meter, reducing the excavated area. The next thing that I'd like to address is the Park and Forestry report received recently. The main issue here is the birch tree. This tree has a 31 centimeters diameter only. So it's 1 year ago, this tree would have been below 30 centimeters, and I could have removed it without permit. So it's not that we're talking here about a landmark tree from the neighborhood that needs to be preserved at any cost. Even the condition of this tree is questionable. Park and Forestry can only state that a tree is either healthy or not healthy. There is no mid ground, but we can see from the pictures attached in their report that the tree is not really in great shape either. Obviously, if we remove this tree, we'll follow the replanting program and we'll plant a new healthy tree in our backyard, and we'll keep all these trees that's being seen in this slide that's in the back of the lot. We have 5 different trees there, creating privacy and greenery for our neighbors. And so respectfully, I would like to ask the committee to not deny our variances 2 and 3 because of that.
Okay, you're,
Finally, I would like to...
excuse me, you finished your 5 minutes. You'll have a chance to come to
sorry.
respond when the other speakers are finished. So we're going to be calling the other speakers. Are you, in the meantime, you're not making any changes to the variances, are you?
Well, I propose 2 changes on the variance. One is to reduce my proposed building height from
Could you please,
10.5.
excuse me, could you please state the variance number, because the staff have to record that. State the variance number
sorry.
and what you're changing it to.
Okay, so I'm proposing to change chapter 10.20.40.10, number 4, bylaw number 569-2013.
Mr. Chair, she has to state
Yeah.
the variance number, please.
Yeah, excuse me. I asked you to tell us the variance number. Give me the variance number and what you're
Where do I
changing.
find it?
What's that?
The variance number is, okay, the variance number is 569-2013.
Excuse me. There you have 13 variances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, sorry, variance number 1. Oh,
So-
I'm sorry, I got it.
Yeah, so
Number
which
1.
one?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay,
Variance number 1.
you're changing number 1 to what?
I'm proposing 10.53 meters and I'm dropping to 10 meters.
You wanted 1053, you're changing it to what?
10 meters.
Okay, 10 meters. Next change.
The next change would be the variance number number 3. Sorry,
Okay.
number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Okay,
That I am proposing to reduce it to 21.55.
21.65 instead.
No, 55. 55.
Okay, 21.55 instead of 22.27. Okay, so those are the 2 changes you made. Any other change?
No. And I'm proposing change number 3 as well because length and depth.
Okay, number 3. You're changing it to,
Instead
oh,
of 20
okay, to what? 21.55?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 22.27. You're changing it to 21.55. Is that correct?
No, 21.17. 27. Sorry, 20. I'm taking 1 meter off. 21.27.
Okay.
On number 3. On
Thank
number
you.
2, I'm changing.
Yeah, I got number 2. Number 2, you're changing it to 21.55.
Yes.
And number 3, you're changing it to 21.27.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let's see what the other people are saying. We'll call you back to respond, okay? So we have here Sheila Harrison. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Could you please tell us what's your concern about this this application, and see if you can manage with the 5 minutes.
Okay, so my name is Sheila Harrison Dunlop, and I'm a director at the on the board of the South Armor Heights Residents Association. And as you know, we
Could you
actively
please speak up? Could you please speak up? We hardly hear you.
Okay, so I'll try to get closer. So we actively monitor and respond to all C of A applications. The 107 Ridley Boulevard application involves a building height variance as well as the building length depth variance, and which is very concerning to Sarah as well as the neighbors. And going to talk about the building height, the design is considered to be what is called a true flat roof. And so a true flat roof allows 7.2 meters rather than 10 meters. They do have a lower maximum height since they have more massing at the upper portions. In this situation, you know, even adjusting the height to 10 from 10.53 is still a very substantial, major 3-meter variance request. If you look at the pictures, this does show a somewhat sloped roof. So one would think that it really is what we call a flat roof facade with the sloped sides according to defined percentages. And then there's some flat roof area, but the regulations say that that flat roof area needs to be between 12 to 25%. And the zoning examiner has stated that in this case, the flat roof area is over 50%. So these flat roof, the roof designs are very important in terms of defining, you know, maintaining the prevailing character of the area. So what we have asked the owners to consider is changing the design of the roof so that it does actually fall into the true flat roof facade with between the 12 to 25% range. We have many homes in our area that are flat roof facades. And this is the first time that we've ever seen one that really sort of looks like a flat roof facade, but has this very large percentage of flat roof area. So we think design-wise, something could be done to adjust this. This is very important to us, precedent setting. The other variance that is concerning is the building length and depth. And this is really caused primarily by the excavation of the basement level. So again, this is concerning to us in terms of the prevailing character of the neighborhood and using this basement excavation area for storage. And particularly in view of the fact that it is going to cause the demise of the white birch tree that without this would likely be able to survive on an ongoing basis. So we have asked the owners, and we thought that they were willing to consider eliminating this excavated area and reducing the depth of the terrace area such that we would save the trees and that they could arrange for a shed to be placed in the backyard for the storage. That doesn't seem to be. In terms of the west side yard variance, I would just mention that the fire department regulations call for 1 meter distance. So I would think that they should be able to accommodate this on the west side. It's a large lot. So in summary, in terms of the 4 tests that you know you are comparing against, it's our opinion on behalf of the Neighborhoods Residents Association that this application does not reflect the general intent and purpose of the official plan nor the zoning bylaws, and that it does not represent desirable or appropriate development of the property. Thank you.
Thank you. Will just a second, ask the members if they have any question, and we'll have the agent after to respond. Members, I don't see them. Members, are you, anyone any question for the speaker? We'll have the agent comes back after, okay? Next speaker is Heather Mitchell. Are you there?
Chair, I've reached out to to Heather Mitchell and has withdrawn.
Okay, could you please tell us what's your concern about this application? Huh?
Mr. Chair, Heather Mitchell has withdrawn her request.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now from far I don't know who speaks. Thank you, Brandon. Okay. Then we have Ed Zerodaskis. Are you there?
I'm here.
Papa Nicolau. Okay.
I'm here for.
Okay, could you
I'm
please
here. Can you hear me?
could you please state your name and address and tell us what's your
Yes, it's
what's your concern?
Ed Zervadakis and Ann Papanikolaou, 91 Joycey Boulevard. We've also been asked by the neighbor, Charles Knapp, immediately east at 105 to represent him because they felt that the timelines of sending out the minor variances on the 27th and the time to respond were too short and kind of disrespectful, especially for him. So can we speak on his behalf as well?
Yeah, you can speak. You can say what you have to say for you and them, and we'll have the agent respond to the concerns.
All right. From the 13 requested variances that they were looking at, we're looking at number one, which is the one stated earlier. An increase of 3.33 meters or 46.25% in the building height is not minor in nature. Such a drastic increase in height would not be desirable for the development as it would create an oversized building in the existing lot. The increase in height is not in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw 5692013. It is clearly a violation of the bylaw regulations. Finally, the increase in height is not in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the City of Toronto official plan, specifically 415, which states the development in establishing neighborhoods will respect and reinforce the existing physical character and geographic neighborhood. The increase in height does not respect this policy, nor does it respect the general character of the surrounding neighborhood. For comparisons, the midpoint of my pitched roof is 23.8 inches, and the peak of my roof is 31. The proposed would mean that the top of their flat roof would be 11 feet higher than ours currently. Number two, an increase of 5.5 meters in the building length, or 32.64%, is not a minor variance in nature. Such a drastic increase in building length would not be desirable for the development as it would create an oversized building on the existing lot. The increase in the building length is not in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw 5692013. It is clearly a violation of the bylaw regulations. Finally, the increase in the building length is not in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the City of Toronto, specifically section 4.1.5, which states that development in existing neighborhoods will keep in respect and reinforce the existing physical character of each geographic neighborhood. The increase in height does not respect the in length does not respect the policy. Number three, the decrease of 0.81 meters in the west side yard setback, or 45% decrease, is not a minor variance in nature. Such a drastic increase in the side yard setback would not be desirable for the development as it would create a lack of separation between the subject property and the neighborhood property at 105 Ridley Boulevard. Such a narrow separation would make it difficult for firemen or maintenance people to get by in an emergency. Finally, the decrease in the building side yard setback is not in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the City of Toronto official specific section 415. Lastly, an increase of 12.9% in coverage of the lot is not a minor, is not minor in nature. Such a drastic increase in lot coverage would not be desirable for the development, as it would create an oversized building on the existing lot. That's basically it.
Okay, thank
So
you.
long-winded.
Thank you. Now, just for the records, could you please state your name and address for us, for the record, please?
Yes, Ed Zervadakis and Ann Papanikolaou, 91 Joycey Boulevard, and also Charles Knapp, 105 Ridley Boulevard.
Thank you. Just see if the members have any question. Any question for this speaker? No? Okay, so Mr. We need back here the agent.
Yes, I'm back here.
Yeah, so could you please address those concerns before we move to the committee?
Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to address is the comment from Ms. Sheila, and I'm okay to increase in 1 centimeters my my side yard, my east yard's setback, allowing the fire department to access the property. So this way now I am proposing that variance number 5 to become 1 meter instead of 0.99.
1 meter. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, number 5 changed to 1 meter. It's 0.99. You're changing it to 1 meter. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Variance number 5, the agent is proposing to change into 1 meter. Okay. Okay. Please go ahead and address the concerns that have been said here.
Yes. The next concern that I have to say, expressed by Mr. Ed, is that he said that his roof peaks at 31 feet. And I'll just to say that when I drop my height to 10 meters, my roof is going to peak at 32.5. I am not 11 feet above his roof, you know, because of the design of my roof. My roof is has a different type of design. It's flat on the top, but it slopes on the side. So yes, I'm asking for 3 meters above the variance of 7 meters, just because it's meant for real, true flat roofs. But my house is not a real, true flat roof, in a sense that I do have a slope underneath the true feet. So I would just like to clarify this to the committee, that the numbers don't seem to meet. Also, my next door neighbor, I spoke with him, and he told me that also his roof is at 31 feet at the top, and he has a flat part on the top, like I'm proposing mine. And dropping mine down, I'm dropping to 32.5. The next thing that I'd like to address is that that 109 property has not expressed any concern. So I'm not going to be discussing whether it's too close to her house if she actually doesn't necessarily is concerned about that. And again, I've dropped to 1 meter to satisfy the homeowners association. Finally, I'd like to say that our increase in coverage, it's only 4% of the total area of the lot. And when I propose to reduce my length and depth, I am now bringing my coverage to not 39 as I am proposing, but to 38.5, which is the same coverage approved for 12 Harley, and you can see in one of those bylaws that I presented. And it is the same coverage approved for 112 Ridley, across the street from me, that you can also see in my presentation in one of those variances approved. So I feel that 38 coverage is really in line with going to this neighborhood in most of the new builds. And I would like to also say that in terms of like lack of privacy and so on, that my covered patio, it's on the ground level. I purposely designed my patio to be just 2 feet above ground. So when I'm sitting there, I'm not looking at anybody and nobody's looking at me. And I would like to say that from the back of my house to my property lot, my property line, sorry, I have 65 feet. And from the back of my covered patio to my property line, I have 55 feet. and all that greenery that was presented. So I highly doubt that I'm invading on my neighbor's privacy. And even if I don't excavate underneath and reduce, therefore, my coverage, my length, and my depth, I still have a deck. So that still doesn't sort of like reduce or increase the amount of lack of privacy. So that's basically what I like to address from those concerns.
Okay, thank you. Now, just you're talking about variance numbers. Are you changing number 6? Did you?
Well, yes, if the committee deems necessary to reduce 2 and 3.
No. We don't save the committee. We don't negotiate here.
Okay.
You tell us what you want. You're asking for
Yes,
39.5.
yes.
Tell us what you want to change it to.
To 38.5.
Okay, that's your proposal. We'll see. Okay, we'll see what the members are saying.
Thank you.
Members, any questions for this agent? Miss Satarodi? Miss Satarodi, please go ahead.
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple questions from the applicant. Number one, I appreciate that the applicant listening to all the people who have concerns and modify the application here, but now we're looking at completely new application, and I want some explanation. First of all, the applicant reduced the variance number 1, the proposed building height from 10.53 to 10 meter. So if you're modifying variance number 1, definitely variance number 12 have been, the number probably have been changed, and we would like to know what is that number for variance 12, because both of them are dealing with the height.
Yes, I would be reduced also 0.53, so it means 11.29 minus 0.5. I'm just gonna do the calculation, I'm sorry. 11.29 minus 0.53 would be 10.76.
What's that?
Would be 10.76.
Yeah, you realize here that we're dealing with almost a new application. We come here to the committee and we have all these changes here. Those generally have to be done before you discuss with the
yes.
And then you come up with, we're looking
yes, Mr.
We're looking at it at totally different applications. So let's see what the members are saying. Any other question?
Can I just say one thing?
Any other question, members?
I have more questions, but I'm listening. Apparently, applicant want to explain one more thing.
Yes, I would like to explain that I would love to have had the chance to talk to all my neighbors up front. But as I said in the beginning of my presentation, I gave them drawings. Even some of them received my drawings even before I applied for committee of adjustment. And at no point in time during all these months, I've been approached by anybody expressing any concerns. So all of a sudden, even passing the deadline of the 30th, which I understood was a very short time, so I'm not concerned, I'm not complaining about that. After the 30th, I started receiving all those letters of concern. So I had no other option than bringing these adjustments to this meeting because I didn't have time to sit down with them throughout the summer and adjust that, and perhaps had modified my application.
Okay.
Okay, that's.
I have my next question.
That's
to you,
yes,
Mr.
yes,
Chair.
yes.
Yeah.
The next question is: the applicant modified the length and depth 1 meter.
Yes.
Is this 1 meter length you reduce the loggia or you reduce actual building length?
Loggia.
Sorry?
Loggia.
Loggia of the where? In the back of the property or?
Yeah, I'm reducing the depth of my lodge. So right now, I think my lodge is 4 meters something. It's going to become 3.5 meters. So I'm trying to, because I understand some of the concerns were about sort of like the excavated basement for my storage. So I'm reducing 1 meter from my basement under the lodge, which will reduce, therefore, the length and the depth of the overall building, because right now, the overall building is considered the house plus the lodge because the lodge is excavated.
Okay, thank you. My other question is that, do you have any variance regarding the backyard setback?
No, I don't, because as I said, I have 65 feet from the back of my house to the lot line. I have plenty. I'd have enough to even build another house if I wanted.
Okay, then by this modification of the length, so the actual building length would remain 17.98 meter, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and I had one more question, if I remember. So you also modified the lot coverage to 38.5. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Because the moment that I reduce the area excavated under my lodge, I therefore affect the coverage of the lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reducing it.
Yeah, she confirmed
Okay.
that variance number 6 was changed to 38.5. That's what she did originally.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other question?
And then variance number, like the finished first floor height will remain as 2.12, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other question? Okay, if there's no more question, I like a motion, please. Ms. Attarodi, motion, please.
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 1, the proposed building height is now 10 meter. Variance number 2, the proposed building length is now 21.55 meter. The proposed building depth is 21.27 meter. Variance number 5, the proposed west side yard setback is now 1 meter. Variance number 6, the proposed lot coverage is now 38.5%. Variance number 12, the proposed building height is now 10.76 meter. And also I would like to add that because the staff recommended to attach to the elevations and site plan, but we can't because the applicant modified a lot of measurements. So I also would like to add this comment, the condition that the proposed length of the actual building is 17.98 meter.
If this approved, you have forestry as well, right?
Yes, and then of course, subjected to forestry.
Okay. Do I have a second? Miss Sankar? Miss Sankar? You seconded? Okay. All in favor? Okay. So your application is approved based on those changes and based on forestry. Do you want us to repeat the changes or you got them?
I got them all. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you.
members of the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, application number 3, which is 195 Maxome Avenue, application number 3. And here we have one speaker, Mr. Ali Shakiri. Are you there?
Good morning, Ali Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Thank you. Members, do we have here five variances and forestry? There is nobody else registered here. Do we need the presentation? No. Okay. Mr. Shakiri, we don't need the presentation. Do you want to say something before we move to the decision?
No, I have no comment, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So any question or motion? Mr. Klassen? Mr. Klassen, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I will move to approve this application. It is minor and it does meet the four tests, and it will be subject to urban forestry.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Klassen, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Your application is unanimously approved, subject to forestry.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, that was fast. Next one too. Item number 4, which is 55 Glen Grove Avenue, application number 4. And here we have Alyssa Sopelsa. Are you there?
Yes, good morning. I'm here. Good morning, members.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the records here? Are you still there?
I'm here, yes.
Okay.
You just got me. Can you hear me?
Please, yes, tell us your name and your address, please.
Yes, my name is Alessia Sopelsa of A Sopelsa Architect, 12 Paulson Road.
Thank you. Members, we have here, it's one variance and one letter of support. Do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Ms. Sopelska, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to say something before we move to the decision?
If I can just clarify one minor item, I don't know that it's necessary, but the variance shows a floor space index maximum of 0.35. I'd just like to point out that we are actually at 0.7 currently, so we're not looking to double. We're just looking for 6 extra square meters. Just wanted to point that out.
Just a second. The variance is 35. You're asking for 73. Now you want to change to how much?
No. The house currently is at 0.7.
Well, it's okay, but you're not changing the variance, are you?
No. I just wanted to point that out. That's all.
Okay. Any question? Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Tarodi? Ms.
Yes,
Tarodi?
through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, second. All in favor? Okay. Your application is approved and there is no conditions. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Bye-bye.
Number 5, right? Application number 5, which is 62 Marmion Avenue. And here we have Kiana Muzayan. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. We could you please repeat your name? You're having some equipment open there and is reflecting. It is echoing. Could you please fix your equipment there?
Yes, is it better?
It's still echoing a little bit. So see what you speak to the phone, please, directly to the microphone.
Mr. Chair, it's Brendan. She left, so perhaps on to the next item.
What she said? Oh, okay. Okay. Item number 6, which is 278 Joyce Boulevard, application number 6. And here we have John Sibenek. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please state your name and address for the records here.
My name is John Sibenek. I'm the agent for 278 Joyce Boulevard. Application A0559/21NY.
Yeah, okay, just a second. We'll ask the members. Members, we have here 6 variances. Staff report has a condition to limit 40. Okay, so let's Okay, we like a very short presentation, please. Tell us what you want to do with the, if any other changes beside the staff report their suggestion condition to limit the coverage from 40 or 40.5 to be limited, but to include 10.48% of the garage. Are you okay with that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, so do you want to add anything as a
Yeah, I just want to give you maybe a little brief history on
Okay.
this one.
Okay, you got
you know,
you have right of 5 minutes, whatever you want. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the owners purchased a property in November 2019, and that's when they were advised that there was an open permit to the house that was constructed in 2007. So what initiated was a new survey, locating the garage and the house, just so that so we were able to apply for a new zoning review for the garage. And we did that. So the zoning identified the 6 deficiencies that are listed in that outline of the Committee of Adjustment application. Primarily, they deal with side yard setback, front yard setback, height of roof, lot coverage, and the driveway width. We also submitted an arborist report, which was a requirement of the Committee of Adjustment application. So we initiated that as well. And just we have neighborhood support from 5 neighbors, in support of this application. And I just like to add that, I think the garage appears to predate the home, but it fits well within the community. The form is low, the impact is negligible on the site. There's a separation between the dwelling and the adjacent properties. Together with the site landscaping, there's privacy to the neighbors. As far as some of these, the hip roof minimizes the height of the roof, or visually it gives it the effect of something much lower than what is specified in that committee, the zoning review and the Committee of Adjustment application. And we're within, that coverage of the ancillary building is about 0.5% over the maximum allowed. So it seems relatively low. And I think together, the fact that there's privacy, with the landscaping that's provided around the perimeter of the site and between the neighbors, I think this visually it fits the neighborhood. And I would say that, we are modifying the garage roof to avoid encroachment over the property line. So that's something subject to a building permit application. I've read the staff report, and it's sort of like a revision or a clarification to the review process. So we're in agreement with that. Okay. And I believe there was a condition for urban forestry as well.
Yes.
To submit an application. So we're aware of that as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, so you're okay with the condition. I have it here. We have forestry condition number 2, and we have the 5 letters of support. So let's see what the members have. Did you want to add something before we go to committee? Any questions? No? Can I have a motion then? Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, through you.
Can you please speak up? We don't hear you.
How's that?
Yeah, better.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, given that this is an existing condition that's been going on for some time, and I believe the impact on the neighborhood is minor. I believe that what's being requested here is minor, and the owners and the agent have done the due diligence and good work to bring it to conformance. So I'm going to put forward an application, or a motion to approve this application, subject to the condition in the staff report and subject to the condition in the urban forestry memo.
Thank you. Ms. Sankar, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, Sir, your application is approved, subject to those to that condition and subject to forestry.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. Mr. Moderator, what's happening with application number 5?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have the agent back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're back to number 5, which is the 62 Marmion, and then we had Kiana Muzayan. Are you back?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm
Okay,
back.
now we hear you very good. Okay, so we have here 3 variances, 4 letters of support. Members, do we need a presentation? No? Okay.
No.
No. Okay, the members don't need a presentation. Do you want to add something before we move to the decision?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Members, any question or motion? Ms. Sankar? Ms. Sankar, please go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any questions, but I'm prepared to make a motion. In looking at this application and reviewing it, there was one letter of concern, but in terms of just reviewing the application itself and seeing the letters of support, I don't have a problem with it. And I do believe that it does meet the 4 tests as in minor in my view. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application as is. Thank you.
Thank you. No conditions. And second, Mr. Klassen. Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Bartolo opposing. Okay, so your application is approved and there is no conditions.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, the committee.
Application number 7, which is 296 Airdrie Road, application number 7. And here we have Heather Asquith. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Heather Asquith?
Yes, good morning.
We hardly hear you. Could you please speak up?
Yes, I'm here.
A little bit, if you can do a little bit better.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, that's better. So could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yes, Heather Asquith, 349 Carla Avenue, Suite 206. I'm the agent and applicant for the proposal at 296 Airdrie Road.
Thank you. We have here is a new 2-story addition. We have 1 variance and 11 letters of support. Do we need a presentation? I don't see the members. Do we need a presentation? No. Okay. Ms. Asquith, we don't need the presentation. Do you have anything to add before we move to the decision?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Members, any question? If not, can I have a motion? I have two people here. Mr. Klassen, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is minor and it does meet the 4 tests. I'd like to move to approve it.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Tarodi, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Application number 8, which is 168 Loxley Avenue, application number 8. And here we have Stefan Sukyasyahin. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee.
Could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Stefan Sukyasyan. I'm the agent for this property at 168 Loxley Avenue.
All right, we have here, it's a new dwelling and with an accessory and all that stuff. We have staff report asking to eliminate and also to per applicant, you asked to eliminate certain things. So before we move, could you please make a presentation and tell us exactly what you're eliminating and what you're changing before we move to committee?
Would you like the full presentation or just?
You have 5 minutes presentation. You do whatever you want, and tell us what you're changing, so we can have the members move on it.
Sure. So here we are working with the existing condition. She's a narrower corner lot compared to the adjacent lot. We are trying to improve the existing condition and create a wider facade facing the corner, which explains the variances for the side setbacks at north and south side. We are proposing a secondary suite above detached garage, which prompts the zoning variances for floor space index, ancillary building coverage, ancillary building height, and setbacks. So we're trying to follow the guidelines for laneway suite in designing the secondary suite above the garage. I think this is a good example of affordable rentable housing adds to the housing stock by intensification. City planning is looking at implementing bylaws to ease the approval of these types of projects, and I think this couldn't be a more perfect example of this. Property is a corner lot on the north side of its adjacent neighbor of 166 Loxley Avenue and has an apartment complex on its west side with large access driveway. So the shadow impact of the proposal is reduced. The main dwelling FSI is 0.73 times the lot area. The ancillary building adds 0.23. That's why it's a bit over the maximum FSI. Ancillary building has coverage of 14.4%, and staff report outlines that there have been approvals of ancillary building coverage 12.9% to 17.2%. Also, staff report is in support of the application. The variances we think are minor. I think development is desirable and complies to general intent of zoning bylaw and planning policies. And we would like to remove variance number 2 that deals with the side yard landscaping. We will have pretty much 100% side yard landscaping, so that variance is not needed. Thank you.
Okay, so you're removing variance number 2, and if you mentioning the staff report also has another second item, which is the FSI for main building maximum 73. Did you cover that, or you're opposing it?
I did cover. So we are proposing 0.96 FSI, which includes both the main house and the secondary suite.
Yeah, well, the secondary suite is part of it, but the condition. Okay, let's see what. And we have. Okay, there is transportation, no problem. Members, any question to this speaker? Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. For the applicant,
Mr. Bartolo, we still have hard time hearing you, please. Could you speak up, please?
Yeah, no
okay,
problem.
Perfect.
I'll come closer. Maybe it's
okay.
Maybe it's the microphone. What is the FSI of the main house? Because you said it's a combined calculation right now.
Yeah, so the staff report, and I mentioned that it's 0.73, and the maximum is 0.8. So it's the main house FSI is well below the maximum.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out why they put a condition on
the
this.
existing
If it's below
the
threshold. That's yeah. Okay, I think I understand.
Okay. Any other question? No. If not, can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bartolo?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. Given the nature of the application and the ancillary building in the laneway house, which I think is generally desirable and kind of a progressing in the way of the future for many of these lots, I believe this application is minor in general and meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw, and it does fit in with the neighborhood and what's being proposed. So I will put forward an application, a motion to approve this application subject to the recommendations of the staff report and subject to the requirements of the urban forestry memo attached.
Did you mention forestry? I didn't hear you.
I did, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Okay, unanimously. Sir, your application is approved, subject to those conditions and subject to forestry.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Number 9, which is 125 Del Park Avenue. And here we have Anthony Del Grosso. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, Mr. Chair.
Hi, could you please for us state your name and address?
Yes, Anthony Del Grosso, 406 Horsham Avenue.
Okay, this is number 9, Del Grosso. Okay, so we have here, this is to expand the parking area and 3 variances. Transportation has no objection. Members, do we need a presentation? No? Okay, sir, we don't need a presentation. Do you want to add something before we move to the decision?
No, I have nothing to add at this time.
Thank you. Question or motion? Can I have please a motion? Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Given that this is largely technical and the Transportation Department has no issues with it, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application as is.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Tarodi, all in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is unanimously approved.
Great. Thank you, committee. Thank you very much.
Application number 10, which is 242 Armour Boulevard, application number 10. And here we have Michael Bateman. Are you there? Michael Bateman?
Hello?
Michael Bateman, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, can you please state your
Yes,
name?
yes, thank you.
Your name and address for
My
us,
name is
please.
Michael. My name is Michael Bates. 1048 Broad.
Thank you. We have here, this is just to extend the front garage and second story above. We have 1 variance and nothing else. 31%. So do we need a presentation? No. Okay, sir, we don't need a presentation. You want to add something before we move to committee?
No.
No, thank you. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition. It's very straightforward.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, unanimously approved, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Application number 11, which is 265 Snowden Avenue, application number 11. And here we have Saya Zanjani. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the record here? You have to repeat it.
Absolutely. My name is Sia Zanjani, 15 Allstate Parkway, and I'm the architect and the agent on behalf of the owners of 265 Snowden Avenue.
Okay, we have here 6 variances. Transportation, no objection. We have 6 letters of support and 5 letters of objection. And we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people registered to speak for this application. So could you please give us your presentation, and I'll give you the 5 minutes for your presentation. Tell us what the merits of your application is.
Absolutely. So before I start addressing the variances, we would like to make an improvement to the application by deleting variance number 2, which is related to the chimney breast encroachment, and with that variance gone, we would essentially completely fully comply with the as of right massing under the new bylaw. So we can delete number 2 altogether, as we would like to comply with that variance. Um, so for this application, we're dealing with a fairly unique zoning scenario where the required FSI is capped at 0.35, and this is mainly due to the fact that the streets to the north of Snowdon, which would be Golfdale Road and Teddington Park Avenue, as well as the pocket directly to the east of us on the Riverview Drive, which is about 8 houses to the east. All of those streets benefit from much larger lot sizes, especially on Riverview, just to the east, where you will find some of the largest homes in the area. And also directly to the south of us, where our property backs onto, the FSI requirement suddenly increases from 0.35 all the way up to 0.6. So given that on Snowdon, the lots are slightly undersized, the majority of the proposed applications tend to have a much higher proposed FSI due to smaller lot size. So from the onset of the project, we carefully reviewed the existing fabric of the neighborhood, along with all the previously approved FSIs, just in order to establish a built form that was sensible and also in keeping with the new developments and the previous approval. So for instance, some of the previous approvals would be at 154 Snowdon with the FSI of 0.678, which would be exactly the number that we're requesting. 149 Snowdon at 0.676, 159 Snowdon at 0.67, 200 Snowdon at 0.637, which are all along the same range as our proposal. In terms of the variance related to parking space and landscaping, variances 3, 4, and 5, based on the lot dimensions that we were dealing with, we all know what happens to the building height when we propose an integral garage on these narrow lots. So our client made the sacrifice to give up the integral garage, even though it was much needed, in order to keep the building height low, and instead proposed a small driveway parking at the front, which seems to be the common build form on Snowdon, especially with the older homes. Also, let's keep in mind that there's already an existing curb cut which services the mutual drive between the two properties, and in addition to that, transportation report is in full support of the proposed front parking. And finally, that parking's the driveway will be of permeable construction to allow for adequate drainage. We do have 8 letters of support. I think you mentioned 6, and then 2 additional letters were submitted later. So we have a total of 8. And the owners have been in discussions with neighbors. But one thing that's very important to understand is that the client is a family of 5 with 3 children. So they, based on their needs, based on the size of the family, they could not come to an agreement with a substantial drop in terms of FSI. And since we are complying with all the other requirements that kind of form the massing of the building in terms of height, setbacks, length, and so on, it was hard to come up with an agreement with the neighbors, which basically meant that they had to lose a whole bedroom. And with 3 kids and a full-time nanny, that was not something that they were willing to accept. But they've been in touch, especially with the neighbor that they share the mutual drive with, and they had come to agreements with some day-to-day stuff in terms of making sure that she still has access to the mutual drive in order to park her car at the back garage, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much, and I'll answer any questions you.
Thank you.
committee
You're
members
very
may
good
have.
with your 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so we'll get you back after we hear the other speakers, and then we'll see if the members have any question. So next one on the list is Ali Najafi. Are you there? Ali Najafi? Mr. Moderator, is Ali Najafi is there?
They are present, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Alina Jaffe, are you there?
Mr. Chair, Bill Tong, Diana Tong, Jennifer Wang are not present.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Bill Tong and Diana Tong are not there. Anybody else?
Jennifer Wang is not present.
Thank you.
Teresa Grasso and Michael Ortelli are not present.
Thank you.
Neither is Nilofar Musavan.
Musavan, thank you. Okay, so we have here just Alina Jaffe, are you there? We don't hear, I hear some noises there. Alina Jaffe, are you there? And if you're there, could you please fix up your equipment there and speak up?
نمیتونم صحبت کنم این خراب شده.
Is that Alina Jaffe?
That was them, Mr. Chair. However, they have left the event. So I suggest we move on to Jen Baldilli.
Okay, and could you tell us, please, if they come back, we'll return to them? Okay.
I will, yes.
Thank you. Jen and Sean Badali, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you very well. Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Badali, and my husband and I are the owners of 267 Snowden Avenue.
Thank you. And tell us what's your concern about this application.
Sure. I would just like to start off by thanking you for having me here today to speak to the requested variances for 265 Snowden Avenue. So I'm going to make my comments fairly brief. My husband sends his regrets as he's a school teacher, and it's very difficult to get coverage during the day, particularly during an ongoing pandemic. So I've been asked to represent our family. So I'm Jennifer Badali, and my husband and I are the owners of 267 Snowden. We're the immediate neighbors to the east of 265 Snowden, and we share a mutual drive with the owners of this property. We have lived here for over 14 years, and we're raising our family here and plan to be here for many more years. And we feel that we have a good sense of the neighborhood and the community. The owners of 265 Snowden have been renting their property for the past 10 years, but we did meet them for the first time a few weeks ago on September 10th, when they came to tell us that they would be building a large new house on the property. They have met with us since that time and have included the builder in the discussions. They have indicated that they will work with us to ensure that we can put our car in our garage, which is at the back of the property, and we hope that this will be the case. So we have our garage at the back of this mutual drive that is noted, that's not noted on A1, but it is there. So accessing our garage was a concern due to the proposed size of this new build, or specifically variance 1, and how far back the new house will go due to the size. I will just clarify relative to this, all of the precedents that were just mentioned by the architect are from one block over. None of those are on our block. And I think that's really important to be aware of. I will also just note that in our discussions, the builder also clarified an error on the visual depiction of A0, so that an area that appears to be soft landscaping is in reality a paved mutual drive. So the builder confirmed that they realized that, but I can't confirm whether this is reflected in the calculations for variances 4 and 5. So hopefully they can clarify that. And what did I want to say? Overall, we support the development of this property. From what we've seen, the proposed design looks beautiful and appropriate in many ways to our neighborhood. We also are the type to be very neighborly, and we want the owners of 265 to be able to build what they want. But we also want members of our community we're also members of our community, and we just want to ensure that this doesn't detract from other people's ability to enjoy their homes as well. And I guess that has been sort of the concern. A number of neighbors, as well as our Teddington Park Neighbors Association, have spoken with us to express concerns with a specific focus on the proposed floor space index of 0.678. So variance 1, as well as the height, variance 6. A neighbor who approached us but did not submit a letter provided data on FSIs from the last 12 years, and her review, as well as my own review, suggests that no new build on our block has been approved beyond 0.59. I know that members of our community have worked hard across the years trying to keep new builds to a reasonable size on our block, as large builds can create shade for neighbors, detract from green space, and we have heard can also create water issues for surrounding houses. So these, of course, have been concerns for us as immediate neighbors. And I think the height variance 6 is also not a minor variance given the type of roof that will allow for a much higher build. I will also mention that just with the number of other proposals coming through, any decisions made today have the potential to shape a real shift in our neighborhood. So we certainly hope, and I will just also mention that you, or ask that you take a good look at the letters of support. They are, and when they were dated, to give you some sense of sort of when consultation was taking place. So we certainly hope to work collaboratively with these immediate neighbors. We want them to be able to build a house that they're really happy with. We think the design itself is very appropriate, just very large. So we hope that by sharing this information, the committee will be in a position to make an informed decision regarding these variances. So thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Any question to the speaker? No? Okay, so we go back to Ali Najafi. Are you still there?
Mr. Chair, they've left the event. They have
They
not
left.
returned.
They left. Okay, all right. So they're not here. We'll get back. We'll get back the agent. Saya Zanjani, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am.
Okay, so far you said you want to eliminate number 2. Any other change you want to make?
That is correct.
That's correct.
That
Okay.
would be the only change for now. And I would like to address some of those
Yes.
questions.
Now please address the concerns. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Mrs. Badali. Those are definitely comments that we have looked at. So the neighbor brought up a point that mentioned about a block and the precedent being from a block over. I mean, dealing with zoning and official plan zoning and zoning bylaws, generally that's not how they're written and structured. I mean, blocks, as far as we know, the blocks that this property is part of is not under any special provisions. It is part of the same zone. So that I'm not really clear on what that really means. In terms of landscaping, there is actually no error. The numbers that you have in front of you are actually correct. Essentially what happens when we submit a project, the zoning examiner will almost 90% of the projects, they recalculate the landscaping based on their methods, and these are the numbers that came from the city, from the zoning examiner, which were slightly different than our numbers, and then we corrected them to match, and that was resubmitted. The drawing sheet A0 was resubmitted at a later date with the matching numbers that matched those of the zoning examiners. So that's that. In terms of height, I mean, we can look at the front elevation or the side view of the house. The way that the building is the roof geometry works, I'm confident that once this building is built, it would be one of the shortest newer homes on the street. The roof geometry is stepped back, so it will be perceived as a much shorter home all the way through. In terms of size and FSI, again, I want to emphasize to make sure that the neighbors and the committee members understand that we are 100% complying with every aspect of the zoning bylaw. So whether we comply with even with the 0.35 FSI and lose an entire floor to comply with the 0.35, the footprint and the massing of the building would not change an inch. So that's something I really want to emphasize. And like I said, our clients have owned this property for the past 10 years. Just recently they made the decision to build this for their home and hopefully call that their forever home. They have 3 kids ranging from 4 years all the way to 17 with a full-time nanny. Any minor adjustments to the FSI um, we could probably entertain, but through discussions, neighbors requested FSI as low as 0.5, and that would require a loss of an entire bedroom. And as you probably have seen, this is a 3-bedroom house, and they have 3 kids. So as it stands, one of their kids will have to be in the basement. So that's unfortunately that's not something that we were able to entertain. Having said that, if the committee members find it appropriate, we are willing to reduce the FSI from 0.678 to 0.67. That would be a slight reduction in length without losing an entire bedroom on the second floor. So we are willing to make that adjustment.
Excuse me,
Um,
you say if the committee wants, you're willing to make the adjustment.
we would.
We don't negotiate. Tell
Well,
us what you want to change it to.
we do. We would go ahead and proceed with that change actually. So
You want to change number 1 to what?
Number 1 would change from 0.678 to 0.67.
Okay.
And anything regarding water issues, we leave that up to our qualified grading engineers and the well-respected engineers at the city to who will be approving this application later on to address any issues. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll see. So the members, he's removing variance number 2, and number 1 he's changing to a 0.67 instead of 678. So, any questions? Please go ahead. And if there's no question, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
Ali Najafi has returned, so perhaps we can give one more try for Ali Najafi prior to a motion.
Yeah, Alina Jaffe. Yeah, but now we have to Alina Jaffe. The problem is that the applicant already finished his response. So for a good gesture, Mr. Alina Jaffe. Yeah, what's happening? We were waiting for you.
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry, like my computer crashed in the middle of the time I want to speak.
Okay,
So,
now can you please?
I don't have any objection. I talked to the owner previously, and I'm generally in support of this application.
Thank you. Now, just for the records, could you please repeat your name and address for the records?
Sure. My name is Ali Najafi, and my address is 255 Snowden Avenue.
Thank you. And you're okay with the application? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sure.
Members, any Miss Satarudi?
No, through you, Mr. Chair. I just want to confirm one thing with the applicant. Is that correct that the applicant also mentioned that the driveway will be constructed with permeable pavers?
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Can I have a motion then, please? Miss Satarudi?
So through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 1, the proposed floor space index is now 0.67 times of the area of the lot. Variance number 2, eliminated. And also, I want to add one condition that the proposed driveway will be constructed with a permeable paver.
Permeable.
And
yeah.
Yes, and there is no other condition.
That's it. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is approved, subject to the changes you made and driving with the paving, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members.
Thank you. Now, we're almost 12. We're going to have a small break, 10 minutes break, and we'll be right back, okay? I don't see the. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back into session and we continue with the variances, with the applications. And the next one is application number 12. Is everybody there? Application number 12, which is
Ali
two.
Shokeri.
Okay, we're
I'm present
application
here,
number
sir.
12, which is 284 Parkview Avenue, application number 12. And here we have the agent, Ali Shakiri. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm present.
Okay, in the meantime, maybe you can tell us again your name. I know who you are. Tell us your name and your address because it has to be recorded for every application. So please, your name and address.
Ali Shokeri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure that the members are here before we proceed. I see Ms. Sankar there. And all right, so we have at least two more ones, so we have a quorum. Okay, we application number 12. This is a, we have here the staff report, which is just a condition. The 9 variances, forestry condition. And the main problem here is transportation. They have issue with variance number 7. So could you please make a small presentation? I'll give you your 5 minutes and tell us what you want to do about the transportation question.
Yes, sure. The original report from transportation actually was requesting a denial of the application. The report came very late after the deadline that we had to submit any support material. Anyways, we've been trying to get in touch with the transportation. Eventually, we could speak with Mr. Godley Abraham yesterday. They changed the report and sent it to Mr. Antonacci and Mr. Lamb yesterday at 11:22 a.m. They basically changed their report with the conclusion of they're basically not asking for refusal of the variance number 7, not the entire application.
Correct.
That's
Number
for
7, I'm talking. Yeah, I saw that. We
Yeah.
saw that report.
Yeah.
They're referring only to variance number 7.
So that's why I wish to speak about this variance number 7. I explained to the transportation department that we do need this variance. The main concern is it is not safe to put the driveway on the other side. So as of right, we can have this driveway backing into Wilfred Avenue. This is a corner lot. Wilfred Avenue, Wilfred Parkview intersection is a full stop sign at the Parkview direction. The Wilfred Avenue does not have a stop sign. So a few factors kick in. First of all, the speed of the cars on the Wilfred Avenue are they're moving on the allowable speed limit without stopping at the intersection. There is presence of the very big mature trees that is limiting the view for the cars passing, as well as the view for the person who's backing up from the house into the street. There is a very proximate sidewalk on that side, as you can see on the site plan, which is basically when a car is backing to the Wilfred Avenue before the driver is leaving the garage, the back of the car is at the walkout. This is proximate to Earl Haggis School. Many children and school kids are might be on that sidewalk, so it's dangerous. We think that for all those purposes, it's not safe to have any driveway on that side. So I explained this to the transportation yesterday, which I eventually could get a hold of Mr. Godley Abraham. And I have a pile of evidence for almost every intersection in the neighborhood that has the same situation is working properly. Unfortunately, because of receiving that objection very late after our deadline to submit any support material, I couldn't submit those, but I'm sure the panel members are very well familiar with the area. This variance has been requested by many applicants, including me, during the past years, and unless in very rare cases that the driveway is backing up into a major street, I haven't seen that variance to be denied. I explained that to the transportation. The response I got from them is that, well, we have this report and it's been issued. You can explain your points to the Committee of Adjustment and let them decide. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm hoping that you accept my rationale for having that driveway on the Parkview is actually safer. So I have no further comment. If there is any question, I'd be more than glad to answer.
Yeah, you said many other ones have the same entrance, but the transportation is saying that this particular one is close to the stop sign. Are you? You said you discussed it with them yesterday. What was the result?
But they didn't respond to my rationale, basically. I think it seemed like Mr. Abraham was agreeing or not responding to my rationale. Basically, he left it to the committee to decide. But
Okay.
for the same reasons, what is at stake here is the public safety. And we do have to keep the driveway over there for the safety of the public. That stop sign at the corner basically limits the speed of the passing cars from the Parkview. Also, a longer driveway allows more time and more field of view for the car that's backing up into the Parkview Avenue, which we do not have on the other side, let alone that the Wilfred Avenue is a higher speed street, and the cars do not stop at the intersection. So that is, I would say, impose a danger when a car is backing up to the drive.
Okay, thank you. So let's see what the members are saying. These members, we don't have any other speaker here, just the agent. Any question, Ms. Sankar? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Sankar.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So as I understand it, and I just have to clarify, so even though transportation has come back and said, look, here's the updated, it's not an outright sort of refusal. We just want number 7 refused. There's a discussion that took place between transportation and the agent yesterday, but there's been no updates since then to us. So all we've got is what is in front of us, which I'm not in a position to not, to ignore what transport has said. There is nothing else that's updated. And so, I want to offer the agent to perhaps, if he needed more time, defer this application so that he can have a discussion with transport, because at this time, I'm not prepared to go against what transport is proposing. And through you, Mr. Chair, I'll motion to defer this application if that's possible.
Okay, well, Mr. Shakiri, did you hear what the members are saying? That
Yes, I heard. Yes, I heard, and I thank you, Ms. Sankar, for offering that. I would say that this is gonna impose a delay on this project. We can redesign this house with a driveway on the other side, and it doesn't change anything on the floor plan of this house. We can flip the design and have the garage backing into the Wilfred Avenue if this panel finds that more appropriate. I had to actually, it rested with me to raise the issue of the public safety with that regard, and I do believe that it's more appropriate to have the driveway as proposed. But if you agree, I wish to proceed, even if I jeopardize that variance number 7. But I do really hope that the panel thinks about the rationale and the reasons that I said, and grant that variance also to me. If not, then I leave it to your capable hands, basically.
Okay, so what I understand is you want us to move ahead with the applications at the risk of risking number 7. So that's what I understand. So let's see what the members are saying. Ms. Sankar, you had your hands again.
Okay, so I'll take back any motion to sort of defer this application, given what Mr. Shakiri has said, but I still stand committed to the fact that I'm not the expert here, and I rely on transport in cases like this to be the expertise that I need to inform my decision. And for that reason, I will make a motion to approve the application, but I will make it subject to the latest transport report, and that variance number 7 be refused at this time, and it will be subject to forestry.
Forestry, thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo, second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, 2 and 2. All right. So I happen to agree with the motion, because the discussions with the transportation have not been concluded, and the transportation clearly describes that this is too close to the stop, and therefore it's a hazard. It's up to the applicants to convince them and come with a conclusion. In the meantime, they'll have more time. So the motion to approve the application, except for variance number 7, I'll go along with that, and that's the decision. So your application is approved, except for variance number 7, and please discuss it with the transportation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, application number 13, which is 258 Erskine Avenue, 258 Erskine Avenue, and here we have Parisa Amiri. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
Hi.
Parisa Amiri, could you please state your name and address for us?
This is Parisa Amiri. I'm the architect and the agent on this application. My address is 50 Woodville Avenue, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you. So we have here just one variance. There is no other conditions except forestry, but we have one speaker here, and we have to you have to make a presentation, even though there is. Let me see if the speaker is here. Mr. Moderator, do you know if Jim Paul is here?
Mr. Chair, they are present.
They are present. Okay, so.
Correct.
Sorry? Okay, so Ms. Amiri, could you please continue your presentation? Give us 5-minute presentation as to the merit, then we have to listen what the other speaker has to say.
Yes. This is a new house that my client wants to build for himself and his daughter. And this is a very deep lot, which is 5717 meter by 7.62 meter for the frontage. We are requesting for only one variance, and we are respecting any other variances that may occur, and we are respecting any other zoning bylaw. Although my client would be able to build a bigger house based on even the bylaw, we are keeping the space and FSI only at 53% instead of 60%. And this lot is kind of on a positive slope, and we try to bring the house as much as possible closer to the grade. This is a very unique design. My client wanted to have it. It's a slope in the front and goes to the back with a flat roof. And the reason that we are asking for that variance is the flat roof, which is at the back. So because it's a combination of these two kind of roof design, we came under the main wall height variance, and instead of 7 meter, we are asking for 853 because they counted to the top of the flat roof. So there is not much I can explain about this application because it's only one variance, and this we are only dealing with the main wall height, which is, as I explained, a kind of a combination between these two roof design, and we are okay with the total height, which is 9 meter. If there is any question, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. When you said the land slopes, is there a difference between the corner of the road and the lot size?
Yes.
Do you know how much is that? What's the difference?
Yeah, I can tell you. It's almost 60 centimeter.
Oh, 60 centimeters. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll bring you back after we hear this speakers, see what they have to say. Jim Pooley, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the records here and tell us what's your concern about this application?
My name is Jim Poole, 256 Erskine Avenue. My concerns are I'm assuming everything is fairly preliminary in the plan that's been presented, and we are going to get some professional help to advise us. Other than that, I got some simple questions, like there's a board fence that's shown on the plan that's going to run down the entire, looks like it's going to run down the entire side of the new build. I guess the question is that true?
Could you please finish? We don't answer your question. Could you finish and we'll have the agent answer? Your question is could you repeat that question so he'll understand it, she'll understand it very well.
In the survey that's online, there's a board fence, a new board fence going to be constructed on 258, on the east side of 258. That board fence appears to go right down the entire length of the new build. The west side of the new build. Is that accurate?
Okay, next, we don't deal with those questions. All we have here is one variance. They're asking for the height of the building, and if they didn't have this variance, you wouldn't be here, they wouldn't come to us. That's all we deal with that. We don't have any, yes?
We'll be back to you when we get some professional help.
Okay, and beside that one, any other one? Any other question? That's the only question you have. Okay, members, any question? No? Okay, so Parisa Amiri, can you come back, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so
yes, I'm here.
So you heard the gentleman he's talking about some board
board fence
along the thing, and here
no,
we're dealing with the
all
variance.
Along yeah, but to answering his question and his concern, the board fence is just stops at the end of the rear main wall of the building, which is almost close to his end of his building. So it's not going to continue to all the way to the front.
So, okay, so even though you explained this, all we're dealing here with one variance
yes.
here. Okay, so members, any question or motion for this one variance? No? Can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Even given what the debutante had indicated, I accept the explanations provided by the agent here today. And for that reason, I do believe that this is minor in nature, and I will put forward a motion to approve this application subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Your application is unanimously approved and subject to forestry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Number 14, which is 26 Bowie Avenue, application number 14. And here we have William Hall. Are you there?
I'm here, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Could you please?
Can you hear me?
You're welcome. Just your name and address, please, for the records here.
Yes, my name is William Hall. I'm the owner of Architrave Design Architect. The address is 12 Mill Cove in Toronto.
Thank you. This is to construct a second-story addition, one variance, nothing else. Members, do we need the presentation here? No. Okay, sir, we don't need any presentation. Do you want to add something before we move to committee?
No, I don't, unless there are any questions I can ask.
Thank you.
Would like to ask questions.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, Ms. Attarudi? Motion?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. This is a very, I want to put forward a motion to approve this application is quite straightforward with no other condition.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay. Your application, you're unanimously approved. There is no condition. So you see, you made a good presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Application number 15, which is 58 Sumner Heights, application number 15. And here we have Nafise Zangiabadi. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, you're the agent. We have two more speakers here, and therefore we like you to make a presentation. We have here the staff report with the condition. The transportation has no objection. 6 variances and 1 letter. We have, it's only 1 letter of objection. So could you please make a small presentation so we can have the other speakers come back?
Sure. This application is to construct a new 2-story dwelling, and we are actually requesting for 6 variances. 3 of them deals with the height. Out of those 3, 2 are technical. Variance number 5 and 6 are due to the change of grade and the way the height is calculated under the old bylaw. We don't have any height variance under the new bylaw. Variance number 4 is the height variance for the side main walls. And the reason being is that we have a gable on top of the window on the side, which give us the number of 8.58 meters, whereas entire side wall we are at 7.5 meter. That means like most of the side walls on both sides, we comply with the requirement of the zoning. Variance number 3, for the driveway, we have communication with the planning and they're in support of the application because the width of the driveway, which is 8.32, is only within our property. We reduce the width in the public right of way to 6 meter, which transportation is in support of. And variance number 2, setback, is just nominal and it's only in the front corner of the house and the way the lot is positioned and the house is positioned in the lot, and it's going to increase along the walls as we move further to the back. And variance number 1 for the front yard setback, we did match the new building with the neighbors to the left to be exactly aligned with all our neighbors to the west. Because our neighbor to the east, we're actually the last lot on the street, which after us the cul-de-sac starts. And the reason of the number of front yard setback is the average of the neighbors. That's why it's a little bit higher. But we did adjust it with our neighbor to the west, and both neighbors are in support of that.
That's it? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's see what the other speakers have to say, and we'll come back to you. So
Sure.
Here we have Mitra Izad. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, they are not present.
They're not. Thank you. Next is Yufan Lee. Are you there?
Mr. Chair.
Okay, Yufan Lee,
Yeah,
could you please repeat your name and the address? Your
my
address?
name is Yufan Li. My address is Samlahan's 59 North York.
Thank you. Now tell us what's your concern about this application.
It's for me, the important thing is regarding the front yard setback. I think it's very close to the street, close my house. I think I should follow the rule. That's it.
That's it. Okay, so you have
Yeah.
issue with the front yard setback. Okay, members,
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
okay, any other thing?
That's it.
That's it. Members, any question for this speaker? She has issue with the front yard setback, so we'll have the agent come back and explain. Okay, there's no question. So, Mitra, could you please come back and tell us why you're having the setback that close to the street as the speaker finds it?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Nafisa, the applicant. As I explained, the front yard setback is the average of the neighbors to the sides. Our neighbor to the east starts at the cul-de-sac, so it's positioned further back into the lot. So if we average both neighbors, it's going to give us the number 8.96. And we did try to match our building with our neighbor to the west, which from the beginning of the street, Sumner Heights, to our building, they are aligned and they're all at 7.71. And our neighbors on the sides, they don't have any objection. I don't know how a front yard setback is going to affect the neighbor on the other side of the street, because she's at 59 across the street, where we have the Sumner Heights drive in between, and their front yard setback themselves is about like 10 meters. So if you add up those numbers, 7 meters on our side, 10 meters on their side, about 10 meters for the Sumner Heights drive. So we're almost 30 meters, like 90 feet, 100 feet from the buildings. And so I don't see any privacy issue in that case, especially when all the buildings on this side are aligned at 7.71. So we did actually try to match with the streetscape and not change that. And the staff are in support of that. They didn't have any issue with that. Our immediate neighbors are okay with that. So I believe that's a minor variance, trying to match with the streetscape of Sumner Heights Drive.
Okay. Any question for this speaker? If no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I do understand what the speaker was talking about with respect the debutante around variance number 1, but in the explanations of the agent with the average, taking the average on both sides, I do believe that this is reasonable. And in looking at the entire application, I also feel that it's reasonable and meets the 4 tests. So for that reason, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the September 30th staff report that the site exterior main wall heights be developed substantially in accordance with the east and west side elevation drawings. I'll make this subject to forestry as well. And transport has no objections, and that's my motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Your application is approved, subject to the staff condition and forestry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 16, application number 16, which is 9 Dornfell Street, 9 Dornfell Street, application number 16. And here we have Arjang Behesht. Are you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Hamid Behesht here from Homeland, the co-designer of the house from 49 Wycliffe Crescent, Toronto.
Thank you. So that's your address. Now we have here, this is a new dwelling. Staff report has just a condition. Transportation report, no objection. And just forestry, and we have 5 letters of support. Members, do we need the presentation? No? Okay. Sir, we don't need the presentation. Do you want to make any comment before we move to the decision?
Just to mention that we have the support of all the neighbors, including 4 to or 5 written supports which you have on file, including the committee staff and a conditional support from transportation, conditional support from forestry, which we're okay with that, and also unconditional support from the transportation, and hopefully we have the support of the committee members today as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion then, please? I don't see hands. Yeah, Mr. Bartolo?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, in reviewing the application, I believe that what's being proposed here is minor in nature. There's no negative feedback from the staff of any of the.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bartolo, I didn't hear a word you're saying. Can you please speak up?
Okay, let's try again. I say, in reviewing the application, Mr. Chair, I believe that what's being proposed here is minor in nature. There's no opposition from any of the departments within the city, and I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the recommendation in the staff report.
Thank you.
And subject to the conditions of the urban
Forestry.
forestry landlord.
Thank
That's
you.
correct.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen seconding. All in favor? Okay. Sir, your application is approved, subject to that, the staff condition and subject to forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee members and committee staff.
Thank you. Application number 17, which is 20 Lowsmore, application number 17. And here we have Sarah Efrah. Are you there?
I am.
Okay. So we have here the 11 variances. Staff report has a revision, and yeah, we have a big revision here, and the forestry, and there is a transportation report. So could please cover all that stuff and tell us what you want to change in this variance, in this application.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the changes. So variance number 1 will change to 33.80%.
33.8.
Yeah. Number 5 will change to 22.58 meters.
Okay.
Number 6 will change to 21.61 meters. And number 10, the third floor platform got smaller. It went to 13.40 meters squared.
Okay. Any other change?
Those are just the changes. And then I'd like to address the staff report. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rushing through, but I see my time is running away here. Okay, so if we look at, there was a set of drawings that I sent that had like a red box, if we could pull up that correspondence, a red box around the site plan and the elevation. When the staff report talks about the overall height of the building, it's a bit technical. The visible height of the building is 9.97 meters. And the 10.38 goes to that slope to drain, which I think you guys are very familiar with. We've spoken about this a number of times. So from the street at the ridge point, it's 9.97, so just under the 10 meters. And once we put some slope to drain, it ends up being 10.38. So that's slightly technical. When he speaks about the wall height, that wall height is taken to a dormer. I don't understand why. I've never had that happen before, because if you look at my side elevation, you'll see they're actually popping out of the roof. There's no continuous wall that goes up. Oh, this is a good one too. So you see on the 3rd floor, it's all contained within. Nothing is coming up straight from the 2nd floor. So the actual wall height at the front of the house is 6.89 meters. And at the side is 7.07. And then I have a total of 3 dormers on the sides in my roof. The other part I'd like to address is the 3-story part. So there's another there's another drawing I'd like you to pull up that has, let's say, I think it's 4 houses and 4 site plans. Well, here's the render. So that's one thing. So it looks like a 2-story house. But okay, the other one, it's another file. Also September 24th. So I'm sorry, it's a little confusing. So in that one, what you're going to see is that there are 3 other homes that I've designed in the neighborhood that are actually 2-story homes. And you'll see that this house is no taller, doesn't look any more overwhelming, doesn't look overpowering. I'd also like to point out that our side yard setbacks, we've maintained the 6 feet. Yeah, still not that. And again, the overall height of the house is visibly only 10 meters. We do have support. Now, I don't know if the committee has seen it yet. I sent it to Brendan this morning. We do have support from number 18 from both the owner of that home, which is the house to the south, which is the most affected because it's considerably smaller. The house to the north is new. But we actually have a letter from both the owner and the renter. The renter wanted to support as well because they're the ones that are truly affected by something that's going to be built since they're long-term renters. And then the house to the north, we had discussions with them as well, and they had no opposition. Some people just don't like to sign things, so we don't actually have a letter from them, but we do have a letter from our south neighbors, both, like I said, the owner and the renter. In terms of the changes that he mentions in the staff report, we have no issues with those changes, and those are the ones that I said to you as we started. And just there was a note that the last paragraph says it's the platform area is 15.25. It actually got smaller. This is the drawing I want to talk about. It actually got smaller when we made the house a little bit smaller, and most of it is recessed. And again, if the neighbors don't have issue with it, I'm not sure why it would be an issue. I think life has changed nowadays. Everybody needs a place to, oh gosh, 26 seconds left. Everybody needs a place to study, needs to work. So it's nice to have a little bit of an outdoor space. But again, we kept it recessed in order that, it's not full overview of the neighbor, and there's never going to be a party up there. That's not what it was for. It's really just to bring light and air into that 3rd floor space. So this drawing was the one that I spoke about. If you look at the length, you look at the overall design of the house, it's very similar to the other 2 stories. Okay, done.
Done?
Yeah. You were going to stop me anyway.
Okay. Well, I think you know the drill. So we,
Of course.
yeah, so you covered the parts that the staff mentioned as you indicated to change, which is the revised by the applicant number 1, number 5, number 6, and number 10. Now,
yes,
you did not mention anything about the staff recommendation for refusing 2, 3, 4, 10, 11. So
because those do, so I went through actually the reasonings, because that refers to the building height, the wall height, and the 3rd floor. So the building height, I said the visible height is under the 10 meters, and the 10.38 is really just to the slope to drain. The wall height included the dormers, which again, I do not know why, because the wall does not continue straight up. The dormers are set into the roof. They're minor and they're into the roof. The actual wall height is 6.89 and 7.07. Again, this 3rd floor thing comes up very often. And you guys know very well, I present many 3rd floors. I like to keep them hidden. I don't allow most of my clients, unless it's part of the design, to put windows on the front. So this one, from the front of the house, really looks like a 2-story dwelling. If you look through your file and see the rendering again, those were the main issues, and that's what those variances in terms of the list referred to.
Okay. I got your explanation. Let's see what the other members, the other speakers are saying. We have here Jeremy Waits. Are you there? Jeremy Waits? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you
I'm
please
here.
Could you please state your name and address?
My name is Jeremy Whites. I'm located at 11 Kenona, which is directly behind this proposed structure.
Okay.
And
could you please tell us what's your concern about this application?
So my concerns are actually the balconies. It's numbers 8. The variance is 8 and 10. And I don't believe they're minor in nature. First of all, the only one balcony is generally is allowed, and there are two that are proposed here. The two balconies, one is 200%, over 200% the allowable amount of 4 meters. The other one is almost, now it's a little bit smaller, but almost 300% of the allowable. I'm afraid that it will detract from the privacy and the general appearance of the neighborhood. I'm writing back these things. It's this problem is magnified by the general massive structure. This is a huge structure. It will look like an apartment building in a residential neighborhood. I understand, you know, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it with three balconies in the neighborhood. So the main problem is the privacy, and when privacy is taken, well, that can affect the general value of the properties too, and that's my concern.
Okay, very good. So you're concerned about 8, which is the number of stories and the balconies. So let's see
And the size of the balcony, number 10.
Okay, let's see the members. Any question for the speaker? Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Can the applicant just confirm the changes one last time, please?
The applicant, well, we have to hear from the other speakers first. We have another
Fair enough.
speaker, and the agent mentioned the changes of the you want her to mention right now?
I'll wait for the agent to come back just to confirm and make sure I typed in
Yeah,
the right numbers.
yeah, we have the changes here. Okay. Sarah Henitz, are you there? Sandra,
Mr.
sorry.
Chair, they are not.
Yeah?
Mr. Chair, they are not present.
They're not. Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Efra, could you come back, please? Sarah Efra, could you come back, please?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, the member was asking to go over the changes, exactly the changes you made. So, could you please repeat them?
No problem. Okay, so number 1 goes to 33.8%.
Number 5.
Number 5 goes to 22.58 meters. Number 6 goes to 21.61 meters. And in number 10, my third floor platform becomes 13.40 meters squared.
And the second floor platform remain as is?
Yes.
Okay. So, members, any other question? No questions, so can I have a motion then?
Wait, can I address the balcony thing? I didn't get to address the neighbor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so in terms of the balcony on the second floor and on the third floor, I personally don't think for a rear yard neighbor that it's going to have any privacy issues at all. The third floor one, like I said, is recessed and it's 67 feet away from our rear property line, and we've got about the same to the neighbor's house behind. So we're talking about 100 to 120 feet away. And at the second floor, the same thing. It's 51.5 feet away from the rear yard. If you look at the back of this house, this doesn't look like an apartment building to me. I don't take offense. Nobody should think that I'm feeling offended, but I don't think it looks like an apartment building. I think it looks like a home. And that third floor dormers is recessed into the roof. And no matter what, on a third floor, we do need some sort of platform as a code thing. So there would be a balcony, maybe smaller, but there would be a balcony there. And again, we've done this a number of times and no neighbors have any issues because we're so far away from the rear yard neighbor that it just doesn't have a privacy issue. The two people that could have issue are the two side neighbors, because those are the ones we could hang over the railing and look next door. And both of those neighbors do not feel that their privacy is an issue because of the way that my client is going to use their outdoor spaces.
That's it?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So in that case, did you discuss that with the staff who are proposing this refusal about your, especially the 3-story that looks like 2-story and so on?
So yes, and the answer that I usually get is that no matter what, if you have a 3-story dwelling, you will get a negative staff report or a staff report that asks to refuse the 3rd floor and any variances associated with it. But again, I've presented to you guys a number of 3-story homes, and a number of them are built. So again, the committee members that know me and that have been here have seen those photographs of the built homes over and over and over again. My 3 stories, I try extremely hard to make them look like 2 stories. And that's the way that it's going in the neighborhood. I'm also always very clear whether it's a technical 3-story or a real 3-story. And I've got neighbor support. I've had neighbor support down at the Lawrence and Bathurst area, and I've got neighbor support here. This is the way that these areas are changing. They're large families. Corona brought on a whole new use for our homes. We work there. We teach our kids there. It's just people do need more space.
Okay.
And that's the purpose.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
Yep.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt, if I may. It would appear that Sandra Hinnitz has popped into the event, so perhaps we should give them an opportunity to speak.
Okay, they're back. Okay, well, let's hear them. Sandra Hinnitz, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you went back and forth, so we'll hear you now. Could you please repeat stay your name and address, please?
Sandra Hinnitz.
And tell us what's your
22
concern.
Rosemore Avenue.
Thank you. Tell us what's your concern.
Yes, I'm also concerned about the privacy and the height of the 3-story building. I did not give my support for this project. I don't know who the lady was speaking to, but I am very concerned about the 3-story and the height overlooking our property will destroy our privacy, as well as the large decks overlooking our yard. And like the other speaker said, I don't believe there's any other 3-story buildings in my neighborhood, and it will look like an apartment building.
Thank you. Any question for the speaker? Ms. Efra, did you want to add something in light of this?
Yes, I'm actually surprised because my client did go to the neighbor and they didn't seem to have any opposition at the time. So I guess I take that back then. I'm not going to speak for them. But to address the issues, again, the 3rd floor is contained within the roof. If I don't have a 3rd floor, the house will look absolutely identical. I could even put dormers in the roof as a decorative thing, and the house will look exactly the same. The question of the balcony and the overlook, we've recessed it for exactly that reason. We don't want it to be something that's going to, affect neighbors' property. We'd have to have a balcony no matter what on a 3rd floor. So should we be granted a 3rd floor, we would need that little, a space to get out. So ours happens to be a little bit larger. You're allowed 4 square meters and we've got 13. But again, most of it is within our roof. On the 2nd floor, I can have the exact same balcony and just, make it 4 by 10, put my glass in, and I could end up with the exact same, quote unquote, privacy issues. But again, we can put up a privacy screen. My client does not want to be stared at by her neighbor the same way as her neighbor doesn't want to be stared at by my client. So in terms of the 2nd floor one, if a privacy screen would solve that issue, then we can always write that in. And in terms of the 3rd floor one, already there's kind of a built-in privacy screen because it's a recessed balcony, which you can see quite well from this.
Okay, all right.
Elevation.
Thank you. Members, any more questions for this, Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, just one question. I would like to ask Ms. Efra that the site plan that she submitted to the committee on 23rd of September, does that site plan reflected the modification in depth and length that you did right now at the floor?
Yes.
So means the modification of the depth and length is reflected in the site plan dated September 23rd. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a full set of drawings. That's, yes, it's all revised. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Ms. Sankar, question or motion?
I'm ready for a motion, Mr. Chair.
Please.
If no
Please go ahead.
wants to. You know, in listening to the agent speak on this property, at first glance, I thought this is too much for this property. You know, I'm really appreciative of the fact that variances 1, 5, and 6, as well as variance 10 had been modified. But still, I think staff had valid reasons for also proposing recommendations to refuse variances number 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11. And hearing from the debutantes as well, who are actually people who live there, I think that holds weight quite a bit for me in this application. The agent talked about support, but I see no letters of support on file either for that. I'm hearing from 2 debutantes who live in the area who oppose this, and I don't believe as well that the 3-story, you know, is sort of the norm for that neighborhood. And using the pandemic to say that we need more space, if that's the case, then we should be doing this for every application. So I also don't see that as a reason for considerations in terms of allowing this type of build. And I do believe it is quite a bit more than is characteristic for the neighborhood. So for that reason, I'll put forward a motion to approve the application, subject to the changes that the applicant has made today to variances 1, 5, and 6, as per the September 29th staff report. And that is variance number 1 changes to 33.8%, variance number 5 changes to 22.58 meters, and variance number 6 to 21.61 meters. But I will also follow the staff report in refusing variances number 2, 3, 4, 10, and 11, and that the proposal be constructed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment, stamp dated September 23rd. And this is also subject to forestry. That's my motion.
Ms. Sankar, she made the change also to number 10 to 13.4. Are you okay with that? Or?
I've refused variance. I thought
No, the
I've
change,
refused
the
variance
change.
number 10, so it doesn't matter her changes.
Oh, you made, okay, okay, thank you. Ms. Tarodi? Ms. Tarodi?
I'll second it.
Second.
I will second the
All in
second the
favor?
motion.
Opposed? Mr. Bartolo is opposing, and your application is approved, subject to the 1, 5, and 6 changes, and the refusal of the rest of the application, the other ones, and
Sorry, it was the
condition to
sorry,
forestry. Yeah. Well, the
it's the refusal of 2, 3, 4, 10, and
refuse number
11.
2, 3, 4, 10, and 11 as per the staff report,
Yeah.
and subject to condition of forestry.
All right, thank you.
Number 18, which is 71 Northwood Drive. And this is Sia Zanjani. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you please again repeat your name and address, please?
Absolutely. This is Sia Zanjani, 15 Allstate Parkway, and I'm the architect and the applicant
Thank you.
for this application.
Thank you. We have here to build a new dwelling, 6 variances, staff report, just conditions, forestry, 5 letters of support, 1 letter of objection, and there is nobody is registered to speak beside the agent. Members, do we need the presentation? Yes or no? Maybe? No. Okay. Okay, Ms. Sanjani, we don't need the presentation Do you want to add something before we move to committee for decision?
Just a quick note that one of the letters of objection was related to a backyard shed, which is not related to committee of adjustment, which was built but did not need a building permit. Just want to address that. A building inspector from City of Toronto has been we're on site, and we have a letter in writing from City of Toronto that that's been built according to the regulations. That's all.
Thank you. Any question? Can I have a motion then? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I agree. And looking through this application, to me, it seems to be reasonable and does meet the 4 tests in my eyes. I will motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the September 29th staff report, in that the proposal be constructed in accordance with the site plan and side, west and east elevation drawings submitted to the committee, and make it subject to forestry condition number 3.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Tarodi, second. All in favor? Okay, unanimously. Sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to those conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members.
Thank you. All right, so our session of the morning is finished, and we'll resume at 1:30. Have a good lunch.